face.
The front of the human head from the forehead to the chin and ear to ear.
He washed his face. Face up to.
To accept and deal with something that is difficult or unpleasant.
You have to face up to your responsibilities. Facility.
A building or place that provides a particular service or is used for a particular industry.
The assembly plant is an enormous facility. Fact.
A piece of information about circumstances that exist or events that have occurred.
First you must collect all the facts of the case. Factor.
Anything that contributes causally to a result.
A number of factors determine the outcome. Factory.
A plant consisting of one or more buildings with facilities for manufacturing.
Jobs in the factories were getting harder to find. Fail.
Fail to do something, leave something undone.
She failed to notice that her child was no longer in his crib. Failure.
An act that fails.
His failure to pass the test. Faint.
Weak and likely to lose consciousness.
She was sick and faint from hunger. Faintly.
To a faint degree or weakly perceived.
Between him and the dim light a form was outlined faintly. Fair.
Gathering of producers to promote business.
Book fair. Fairly.
To a moderately sufficient extent or degree.
He is fairly clever with computers. Faith.
A strong belief in a supernatural power or powers that control human destiny.
He lost his faith but not his morality. Faithful.
Steadfast in affection or allegiance.
Faithful employees. Faithfully.
In a faithful manner.
He faithfully lived up to his promise. Fall.
Descend in free fall under the influence of gravity.
The branch fell from the tree. False.
Not in accordance with the fact or reality or actuality.
Gave false testimony under oath. Fame.
The state or quality of being widely honored and acclaimed.
Winning the Olympic title has brought her fame and fortune. Familiar.
Well known or easily recognized.
Familiar songs. Family.
A social unit living together.
He moved his family to Virginia. Famous.
Widely known and esteemed.
A famous actor. Fan.
A device for creating a current of air by movement of a surface or surfaces.
A ceiling fan. Fancy.
Have a fancy or particular liking or desire for.
She fancied a necklace that she had seen in the jeweler's window. Far.
Located at a great distance in time or space or degree.
We come from a far country. Farm.
Workplace consisting of farm buildings and cultivated land as a unit.
It takes several people to work the farm. Farmer.
A person who operates a farm.
A farmer who grows his own food. Farming.
Agriculture considered as an occupation or way of life.
Farming is a strenuous life. Farther.
More distant in especially space or time.
They live in the farther house. Farthest.
Most remote in space or time or order.
He had traveled to the farthest frontier. Fashion.
The latest and most admired style in clothes and cosmetics and behavior.
His hair is cut in the latest fashion. Fashionable.
Being or in accordance with current social fashions.
Fashionable clothing. Fast.
Acting or moving or capable of acting or moving quickly.
Set a fast pace. Fasten.
Cause to be firmly attached.
Fasten the lock onto the door. Fat.
A soft greasy substance occurring in organic tissue and consisting of a mixture of lipids.
Pizza has too much fat. Father.
A male parent.
His father was born in Atlanta. Faucet.
A regulator for controlling the flow of a liquid from a reservoir.
Don't forget to turn off the faucet. Fault.
Responsibility for a bad situation or event.
It was John's fault. Favor.
An advantage to the benefit of someone or something.
The odds are very much in our favor. Favored.
Appealing to the general public.
A favorite tourist attraction. Fear.
Be afraid or feel anxious or apprehensive about a possible or probable situation or event.
I fear she might get aggressive. Feather.
The light horny waterproof structure forming the external covering of birds.
Birds of a feather flock together. Feature.
A prominent attribute or aspect of something.
The map showed roads and other features. February.
The month following January and preceding March.
A freezing February morning. Federal.
Of or relating to the central government of a federation.
A federal district is one set aside as the seat of the national government. Fee.
Give a tip or gratuity to in return for a service, beyond the compensation agreed on.
Feed the steward. Feed.
Provide as food.
Feed the guest the nuts. Feel.
Undergo an emotional sensation or be in a particular state of mind.
She felt resentful. Feeling.
The experiencing of affective and emotional states.
He had terrible feelings of guilt. Fellow.
A boy or man.
There's a fellow at the door. Female.
A person who belongs to the sex that can have babies.
Over half of the staff is female. Fence.
A barrier that serves to enclose an area.
A gap in the fence. Festival.
A day or period of time set aside for feasting and celebration.
A festival atmosphere. Fetch.
Go or come after and bring or take back.
The dog fetched the hat. Fever.
A rise in the temperature of the body.
He developed a fever. Few.
A small elite group.
It was designed for the discriminating few. Field.
A piece of land cleared of trees and usually enclosed.
He planted a field of wheat. 15.
The cardinal number that is the sum of 14 and 1.
She must be 15 by now. 15th.
Position 15 in a countable series of things.
The 15th century. 5th.
Position 5 in a countable series of things.
He was 5th out of several hundred runners. 50th.
Position 50 in a countable series of things.
His 50th birthday. 50.
The cardinal number that is the product of 10 and 5.
50 years old. Fight.
Fight against or resist strongly.
They will fight the decision. Fighting.
Any contest or struggle.
There was fighting in the streets. Figure.
A well-known or notable person.
She is an important figure in modern music. Figure out.
Find the solution to or understand the meaning of.
He tried to figure out how to switch on the lamp. File.
Record in a public office or in a court of law.
File for divorce. Fill.
Make full, also in a metaphorical sense.
Fill a container. Fill in.
Write all the required information onto a form.
Fill in the form in capital letters. Filled out.
To become larger, fuller, or rounder, as the figure.
The children have begun to fill out since I saw them last. Filled up.
Eat until one is sated.
He filled up on turkey. Film.
A form of entertainment that enacts a story by sound and a sequence of images giving the illusion of continuous movement.
The film was shot on location. Final.
Occurring at or forming an end or termination.
The final chapter. Finally.
After an unspecified period of time or an especially long delay.
He finally arrived to join us. Finance.
Obtain or provide money for.
Can we finance the addition to our home? Financial.
Involving financial matters.
Our financial picture has improved. Find.
Come upon after searching.
Did you find your glasses? Find out.
To discover that somebody has done something wrong.
He had been cheating the taxman, but it was years before he was found out. Fine.
Being satisfactory or in satisfactory condition.
Everything's fine. Finally.
In an elegant manner.
Finely costumed actors. Finger.
Any of the terminal members of the hand.
Her fingers were long and thin. Finish.
Come or bring to a finish or an end.
He finished the dishes. Finished.
Brought to the desired final state.
A finished product. Finish off.
To make something end by doing one last thing.
They finished off the show with one of their most famous songs. Fire.
The event of something burning.
They lost everything in the fire. Firm.
Become taut or tauter.
Your muscles will firm when you exercise regularly. Firmly.
With resolute determination.
We firmly believed it. First.
The first or highest in an ordering or series.
He wanted to be the first. Fish.
Any of various mostly cold-blooded aquatic vertebrates usually having scales and breathing through gills.
The shark is a large fish. Fishing.
The act of someone who fishes as a diversion.
Their family activities include tennis and fishing. Fit.
Be the right size or shape.
This piece won't fit into the puzzle. Fit in.
Be socially compatible with other members of a group.
He feels he should become tough to fit in with his friends. 5.
The cardinal number that is the sum of 4 and 1.
A circlet of 5 petals. Fix.
Restore by replacing apart or putting together what is torn or broken.
He fixed my washing machine. Fixed.
Securely placed or fastened or set.
A fixed piece of wood. Flag.
Emblem usually consisting of a rectangular piece of cloth of distinctive design.
He raised the flag. Flame.
Be in flames or aflame.
The sky seemed to flame in the Hawaiian sunset. Flash.
Gleam or glow intermittently.
The lights were flashing. Flat.
Having a surface without slope, tilt in which no part is higher or lower than another.
A flat desk. Flavour.
The taste experience when a savory condiment is taken into the mouth.
The yogurt comes in 8 fruit flavors. Flesh.
The soft tissue of the body of a vertebrate, mainly muscle tissue and fat.
The trap had cut deeply into the rabbit's flesh. Flight.
A scheduled trip by plane between designated airports.
I took the noon flight to Chicago. Float.
Set to float.
He floated the logs down the river. Flood.
The rising of a body of water and its overflowing onto normally dry land.
A flood warning. Flooded.
Covered with water.
A flooded bathroom. Flooding.
Large amounts of water covering an area that is usually dry.
There will be heavy rain with flooding in some areas. Floor.
The inside lower horizontal surface.
They needed rugs to cover the bare floors. Flour.
Fine powdery foodstuff obtained by grinding and sifting the meal of a cereal grain.
The villagers used to pound the grain into flour by hand. Flow.
Move or progress freely as if in a stream.
The crowd flowed out of the stadium. Flower.
A plant cultivated for its blooms or blossoms.
Blue flowers. Flu.
An acute febrile highly contagious viral disease.
He was suffering from flu and had lost his voice. Fly.
Travel through the air.
Man cannot fly. Flying.
An instance of traveling by air.
Flying was still an exciting adventure for him. Focus.
The concentration of attention or energy on something.
The focus of activity shifted to molecular biology. Fold.
An angular or rounded shape made by folding.
A fold in their napkin. Folding.
Capable of being folded up and stored.
A folding chair. Follow.
Be later in time.
Tuesday always follows Monday. Following.
About to be mentioned or specified.
The following items. Follow up.
Pursue to a conclusion or bring to a successful issue.
She followed up his recommendations with a written proposal. Food.
Any solid substance that is used as a source of nourishment.
Food and drink. Foot.
The part of the leg of a human being below the ankle joint.
Armored from head to foot. Football.
Any of various games played with a ball in which two teams try to kick or carry or propel the ball into each other's goal.
He played football in high school. 4.
In support of or in favor of.
They voted for independence in a referendum. Force.
A powerful effect or influence.
The force of his eloquence easily persuaded them. Forecast.
A prediction about how something will develop.
Coal consumption is forecast to increase. Foreign.
Of concern to or concerning the affairs of other nations.
Foreign trade. Forest.
The trees and other plants in a large densely wooded area.
The cooling shade of the forest. Forever.
For a very long or seemingly endless time.
She took forever to write the paper. Forget.
Leave behind unintentionally.
I forgot my umbrella in the restaurant. Forgive.
Stop blaming or grant forgiveness.
She cannot forgive him for forgetting her birthday. Fork.
Cutlery used for serving and eating food.
Put the knives and forks on the table. Form.
A category of things distinguished by some common characteristic or quality.
Sculpture is a form of art. Formal.
Being in accord with established forms and conventions and requirements.
Formal dress. Formally.
With official authorization.
The club will be formally recognized. Former.
Belonging to some prior time.
Our former glory. Formerly.
At a previous time.
This boat was formerly used on the rivers of China. Formula.
A standard procedure for solving a class of mathematical problems.
He gave us a general formula for attacking polynomials. 40th.
Position 40 in a countable series of things.
My office is on the 40th floor. Fortune.
An unknown and unpredictable phenomenon that leads to a favorable outcome.
It was as if fortune guided his hand. 40.
The cardinal number that is the product of 10 and 4.
There are 40 people in the classroom. Forward.
Send or ship onward from an intermediate post or station in transit.
Forward my mail. Found.
Set up or lay the groundwork for.
They founded a new city. Foundation.
The basis on which something is grounded.
There is little foundation for his objections. 4.
The cardinal number that is the sum of 3 and 1.
Categorize the plants into 4 groups. 14.
The cardinal number that is the sum of 13 and 1.
He used to work 14 hours a day. 14th.
Position 14 in a countable series of things.
I'm planning to leave on the 14th. 4th.
Following the third position.
April is the 4th month of the year. Frame.
Enclose in or as if in a frame.
Frame a picture. Free.
Not under compulsion or restraint.
Feel free to stay as long as you wish. Freedom.
The condition of being free.
Freedom of expression is a basic human right. Freely.
In a free manner.
The painting featured freely brushed strokes. Freeze.
Stop moving or become immobilized.
When he saw the police car, he froze. Frequent.
Coming at short intervals or habitually.
A frequent guest. Frequently.
Many times at short intervals.
He frequently attends church. Fresh.
Recently made, produced, or harvested.
Fresh bread. Freshly.
Very recently.
A freshly cleaned floor. Friday.
The 6th day of the week.
She met John briefly on Friday night. Fridge.
A refrigerator in which the coolant is pumped around by an electric motor.
There's some ice in the fridge. Friend.
A person you know well and regard with affection and trust.
He was my best friend at the university. Friendly.
Characteristic of or befitting a friend.
Friendly advice. Friendship.
The state of being friends.
True friendship lasts forever. Frighten.
Cause fear in.
The stranger who hangs around the building frightens me. Frighten away.
To make somebody afraid or nervous so that they no longer want to do something.
The dog frightened away the squirrels. Frightened off.
To make somebody afraid or nervous so that they no longer want to do something.
The children's shouts frightened off the birds. Frightened.
Made afraid.
The fright child cowered in the corner. Frightening.
Causing fear or dread or terror.
A frightening experience. From.
Indicating the point in space at which a journey, motion, or action starts.
She began to walk away from him. Front.
The side that is forward or prominent.
The front of the boat. Frozen.
Turned into ice.
Children skating on a frozen brook. Fruit.
The ripe and reproductive body of a seed plant.
Eat plenty of fresh fruit and vegetables. Fry.
Cook on a hot surface using fat.
Fry the pancakes. Fuel.
A substance that can be consumed to produce energy.
More fuel is needed during the winter months. Full.
Containing as much or as many as is possible or normal.
A full glass. Fully.
To the greatest degree or extent.
He didn't fully understand. Fun.
Activities that are enjoyable or amusing.
I do it for the fun of it. Function.
What something is used for.
The function of an auger is to bore holes. Function as.
To perform the action or the job of the thing or person mentioned.
The sofa also functions as a bed. Fund.
A reserve of money set aside for some purpose.
He had set up a fund to coordinate economic investment. Fundamental.
Any factor that could be considered important to the understanding of a particular business.
Fundamentals include a company's growth, revenues, earnings, management, and capital structure. Funeral.
A ceremony at which a dead person is buried or cremated.
Hundreds of people attended his funeral. Funny.
An account of an amusing incident.
She told a funny story. Fur.
Dense coat of fine silky hairs on mammals.
Coarse brown fur. Furniture.
Furnishings that make a room or other area ready for occupancy.
They had too much furniture for the small apartment. Further.
More distant in a specially degree.
Further from our expectations. Future.
Yet to be or coming.
Some future historian will evaluate him.